The story begins off the coast of the Gold Coast, where Canadian tourist Greg and his pregnant friend, Heather, arrive at Tucker's experience for a shark diving adventure. They are greeted by the boat's captain, Tucker, who will be guiding them. Heather feels slightly uneasy when Tucker pointedly asks if they are traveling alone, but she brushes it off and continues with the trip. As they cruise across the open water, Tucker recounts his own harrowing survival of a shark attack, lifting his shirt to reveal the deep bite scars across his torso. Eventually, they arrive at a prime diving spot where Greg and Heather are lowered into the water inside a protective cage. Though nervous at first, Heather quickly becomes captivated by the beauty of the sharks swimming gracefully around them. When the dive concludes, Tucker helps them out of the cage, only to suddenly stab Greg twice in the throat and push his body into the water, leaving Heather in utter shock and horror. Elsewhere nearby, an American surfer named Zephyr is exploring the area alone. She encounters a local real estate agent, Moses, who asks for help jump-starting his stalled car. When Zephyr hesitates, Moses threatens to tell the shop they are parked beside that she has been using their dumpster to dispose of garbage. Reluctantly, she agrees, drives him to his car, and helps start it. Along the way, they bond over their shared love for surfing and exchange pieces of their personal stories. The next morning, while Moses is in the kitchen preparing breakfast, he discovers that Zephyr has already left and headed for the beach. As she's unloading her surfboard, Zephyr realizes she left her fin key back at Moses's place. Spotting Tucker nearby with his truck, she asks if he has a spare. He hands her one, but while she's distracted texting Moses, Tucker slips a bag over her head and violently abducts her. Meanwhile, Moses goes to the beach where Zephyr had parked her van, intending to meet her in the water as she suggested. When he tries calling her phone, he's startled to hear it ringing close by. Later, he sees her van being towed away and, growing suspicious, reports his concerns to the police. Zephyr regains consciousness to find herself chained to a bed in a dimly lit room, where Heather is also being held captive. Determined to escape, Zephyr tries to break free from the cuffs until she notices an underwire hidden in Heather's bikini top. She discreetly hides it away when Tucker enters with food for the women, but he soon discovers the makeshift tool, shattering Zephyr's hopes for an immediate escape. That night, Zephyr and Heather regain consciousness to find that Tucker has drugged them. Zephyr is strapped tightly to a chair, while Heather is bound in a harness and suspended over open water. Setting up his camera, Tucker begins filming as he lowers Heather toward the churning sea. The sharks, drawn by the scent of chum, circle hungrily below. Zephyr's desperate cries for mercy go unanswered as the predators close in, tearing Heather apart in a brutal frenzy. Calmly, Tucker retrieves a lock of Heather's hair, adding it to his macabre collection of trophies, hair clippings and videotapes from his past victims. Seizing an opportunity, Zephyr breaks the handle off a waste bucket and drives it into Tucker's neck. She quickly snatches his keys, unfastens her restraints, and makes a dash for freedom. But Tucker catches up, jabbing a tranquilizer into her leg. In a final act of defiance, Zephyr hurls his camera into the water before attempting to swim toward a nearby boat. The tranquilizer takes hold, her strength fading, and Tucker drags her limp body back aboard. The following day, Tucker heads to the mainland to purchase a replacement camera and new gear. Meanwhile, Moses, already coordinating a search effort for Zephyr, obtains security footage showing Tucker's truck driving past her van around the time she vanished. Tracing Tucker to his shark diving operation, Moses boards the boat and discovers Zephyr's prison-like quarters. He's moments away from freeing her when Tucker returns. A violent struggle breaks out, ending when Tucker's accomplice, Dave, responsible for luring victims like Greg and Heather, strikes Moses unconscious. But when Dave hears Zephyr screaming and moves toward her, Tucker buries an axe into his skull without hesitation. Tucker locks Moses in the same grim cell as Zephyr. Defeated, Moses apologizes for failing to save her and quietly wonders if anything could have happened between them under different circumstances. Zephyr insists she's better off alone, but Moses disagrees, telling her he sees through her guarded exterior. He knows she spent her life without enough people truly caring for her. Soon after, Tucker pilots the boat to a new location and straps Moses into the harness. intending to feed him to the sharks. Zephyr urges Moses to remain perfectly still. Miraculously, the sharks lose interest and keep their distance. Frustrated, Tucker hauls Moses back up and brutally stabs him in the abdomen to lure the predators closer. Before the feeding frenzy can begin, the distant thrum of a lifeguard helicopter forces Tucker to quickly hide both captives from sight. Back in captivity, Zephyr desperately tries to dislocate her thumb to slip free of the cuffs. But when that fails, she takes the unthinkable step, biting off her own thumb to break loose. She races to call for help, but Tucker has already discovered her escape and cut the power. Capturing her again, he drugs Zephyr and straps her into the harness. Lowering her into the water, he watches as a shark approaches. Despite the blood from her mangled hand, the shark inexplicably ignores her. Seizing the moment, Zephyr uses a hook to haul herself upward, but Tucker jerks the harness, sending her plunging back into the sea. Only this time, she's free of the straps. Circling beneath the boat, Zephyr climbs aboard unseen. She seizes a harpoon gun, takes aim, and fires, skewering Tucker through the torso. With a final shove, she sends him overboard, where a great white surges from the depths, tearing him apart in a savage explosion of foam and blood. The harpoon line drags Zephyr toward the water, but she fights free and scrambles back to the deck. On the horizon, she spots the same party boat she had tried to signal before. Firing a flare into the sky, she finally draws their attention. Rushing below deck, she finds Moses slumped and barely conscious. She begs him to wake, promising that he's the one waiting for her when they reach shore. Slowly, Moses opens his eyes, a faint smile spreading across his face. Zephyr laughs through tears, clutching his hand as the long-awaited rescue draws near.